That's going to do it from here. As the Denver Nuggets win it 1.
Oh my god, they actually didn't do it. To call the Lakers a disappointment this season wouldn't exactly be me doing them justice. They've been terrible ass garbanzo beans, trash, Taylor Horton Tucker. They've been the worst thing in basketball this season, and it hasn't even been close. I find more enjoyment watching Sacramento Kings games than the Laker games. Now, I already made a video about the Lakers around 4 to 5 days ago where I said, yeah, there's a good chance they could miss the playoffs. However, the opportunity was still there. However, the Lakers are not going to make the playoffs, and they're also not going to make the play-in. Now, statistically, I'm pretty sure there's still a small chance. They need a couple things to go in their favor. However, the one thing they would need to do is win out the rest of the season. That's just the bare minimum. Now, on March 26th, a popular NBA YouTuber by the name of Legend of Winning posted the Lakers' remaining schedule, and he said that you should try to predict what you think their record is going to be. He said 3-6, however, I went with 1-8. And well, so far, they are 0-4. And with them playing the Phoenix Suns, Golden State Warriors, OKC Thunder, and Denver Nuggets to end off the season, there's a chance they might not even win one game. But should this even surprise you? Because the Lakers have been a terrible team this year, and I think we need to finally address it for the last time. Because with NBA playoff basketball just about a week away, I'm gonna have so much to talk about during that time period. In today's video, I want to talk about the Lakers and how bad they've been this season, and with the realization that they're not gonna make the play-in and their season is basically over. Of course, before I get into the content, if you guys can leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new, notifications on. I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel by the end of the year. And with all that being said, run that intro.
So you've been me, Bron, and Russ. We played 15, 21 games together. Just kind of been that year. You know, either I'm in or he's in. And the times we do play together, we look really good. And then, potential as far as us three being on the floor and, seeing what we really could be.
When it comes to blaming what's going on in LA, a lot of people like to say, oh, the injuries with Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and all these other different guys, and the lineup just keeps moving around. However, as much as I would love to give the LA Lakers that excuse, we can't do that because we put them on the same wavelength as the Phoenix Suns, who just came off an NBA championship. A team like the Warriors, who a lot of people knew were gonna be back and at least bare minimum make the playoffs. The Bucks, who haven't played that many games with their big three over there. We said the Lakers were gonna be the best team in basketball this year. We said they were gonna win a championship, and we all said this super team is gonna be unstoppable. Injuries are inevitable. They're gonna happen when you play sports, and I wouldn't expect them not to happen at least once this season. And we look at teams like the Memphis Grizzlies, who are 20-2 without Ja Morant, who is easily their best player. Or what about the Suns when they're missing Chris Paul and they're 11-4? These teams are being held to high standards, and they're meeting them for the most part, and the Lakers should have never been put on that high standard. Did we expect Anthony Davis to get hurt? Yes. Did we expect LeBron James to go through some injuries? Yes. Despite LeBron James averaging over 30 points per game at the young age of 67, I expected him to go through some injuries during the season. I think everyone else kind of thought the same thing. However, we were okay with Anthony Davis getting injured. We knew that was going to happen, and if he could get healthy for some of the games, then you were going to be just fine. That's why you guys had Russell Westbrook, so you could fall back on him so he could run the offense while some of those guys were out dealing with injuries. However, that has not worked out for the Lakers, and we can clearly say that. Again, I hate the argument that, oh, if this team was healthy, because they're not healthy, so we can't judge them. In a lot of people's eyes, LeBron James is the greatest of all time. Shouldn't the greatest of all time be able to at least, at the bare minimum, lead his team to a 500 record? The playoffs shouldn't even be a question if this was about 3 years ago. Laker fans are relying on a system where they have to go to a tournament where they're gonna have to win 2 straight games just to make the 8th seed, just to play Phoenix in the first round and get swept. But wait, what's this? They can't even make the play-in. Mind you, this was a system that LeBron James himself said it was terrible, and whoever came up with it should be fired. I understand putting the play-in in the bubble because it's like, okay, some teams are going to miss out on opportunities and the amount of games left are going to be limited, so maybe teams that could have made the playoffs aren't going to anymore. I understand that. That was a very weird season, and I'm fully comprehensive of the fact that that was a smart idea to incorporate. Plus, you lost money, so those games would have made some more revenue. And fuck it, even during the 72 game season, I was perfectly okay with that. However, everything is back to normal. The season should be just fine, and yet we still have the system. Regardless, it's not my league to run, so I'm not gonna judge. Now, the main question has to be, who are we putting the blame on for the Lakers' failed season? Because I'm sorry, even though I talked about injuries and how it can somewhat impact the team, and I made my points about saying that championship winning teams would be able to face adversity, the Lakers are not in that category, so we have to point to other things. I think One thing has to be the fact that the Lakers are always changing their lineup, and you can't build a team culture because a guy could be on the team one day and then be out the next. The Lakers' whole roster got reconstructed after losing in the first round. I don't know what the hell is going to happen to them this season. Shit, they might change the uniforms or something. I would like to hope that they keep it somewhat the same, make some additions like getting some three-point shooters and some younger guys. However, LeBron James wanted to play with his old friends, and unfortunately for him, it did not work out. You blew up a team that had potential. That's the thing. They could have won a championship if Anthony Davis was healthy, just not that season. And as we're starting to see, those guys that left to join new teams are doing very well for themselves. During the free agency, I'm definitely interested to see what could possibly happen and who's going to be moved. A conversation that I think definitely needs to be had is about Russell Westbrook. What's going to happen to him next season? Is he going to join a new team? Is he going to stay on the Lakers? Is he going to retire? This might be a little bit of a hot take, but honestly, I think he should wrap it up after this season. Westbrook played a terrible year. However, he's starting to end off on a little bit of positivity, so I think it would be best if Russ just ends the season and hangs that up for good. It's not that Russell Westbrook can't play basketball anymore. It's the fact that the amount of things this man had to go through this season from toxic Laker fans and people in general was just straight up disrespectful. I make jokes on this channel about Taylor Horton Tucker saying how bad he is, but I would never do some shit like this.
I said I'm a biggest fan. Westbrook. Westbrook. Russell Westbrook. No.
I would say if you're gonna talk shit to someone, do not switch up when they get right in your face. Granted, I'm not gonna go to a Lakers game and try to torment Taylor Horton Tucker just to get a reaction out of him for a TikTok. However, if Tucker saw one of my videos and asked me if I actually felt that way, I would stand by what I said. Now that's right before the game. What about when you're not even in the arena anymore?
Russell, you good? No, you good. I ain't no little kid. I know you're not a little kid. I ain't no little kid. All right, Russell. Yo, but stop playing some shit. That's all I'm saying. You're good.
There's a line that NBA fans have been crossing with Russell Westbrook this season, and I think we need to address that. You can't just do shit like this casually, and I feel like a lot of fans have just been doing this and not thinking, I wonder what the consequences are. Imagine if the Lakers would have made it to the NBA Finals, and Westbrook airballs the game-winning shot, or he just plays terrible throughout the series. This stuff would be light work, and it would probably force Westbrook out of LA. I wouldn't blame him for leaving if I'm being completely honest. Now, if he doesn't retire and he just decides to join a new team, then I'd fully support him. I never really fully answered the question earlier when I said what is the main reason the Lakers have been bad, but I think it's a mix of bad coaching, a bad lineup put together, a little bit of injuries, and the very much toxic environment in LA. Mike Orzema made a whole ass video about this a couple of days ago, so I'm not gonna just steal this whole thing. I'm gonna put it in the link in the description below if you want to check it out. I recommend you do. However, I do want to touch on the main point. According to Malik Monk, he said that him and Austin Reeves are very close because there's some of the young guys on the team and the vets are always blaming the young guys, saying that the rookies are just being yelled at and disrespected during practice. The leadership on this team at this point is just toxic, and it's not a good environment if you want to win a championship. Maybe the Lakers do have the talent to win a championship, even though I've looked at this roster and I've said, they have a lot of old guys, there's certain parts of their roster that just aren't built correctly. But when you're in a toxic environment, how the hell are you supposed to thrive? If everything Malik Monk is saying is true in this interview and everything he said and all the toxic stuff that's going on in LA, then I 1000% could expect something like this to happen. I want to remind you guys that I have made videos where I talked about LeBron James and him with young guys and how it just doesn't mesh well. So I honestly do think that this could be one of the biggest reasons why the Lakers have struggled during the season. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna miss this Lakers team a little bit because it was kind of fun to watch them struggle on national television. They say don't kick a man when he's already down. However, what about when they're 6 feet under? 8 months ago, we had the ideology that the Lakers were a super team and they were gonna make it to the NBA Finals, no doubt about it. Fast forward to present time, this team couldn't even make the play-in.